Hello again, this is Dr. Erickson. Welcome to Session 3 of GED 6001, Foundations of Leadership and Educational Issues. Today we're going to discuss the topic of sharing a vision. How does a leader build shared vision? What does a leader include, or how does a leader include the voices of all stakeholders? And we'll be discussing how leaders work on themselves and how Brene Brown's work on shame and empathy play into the equation. Today's devotional passage comes from the book of Matthew, chapter 28, and is often referred to as the Great Commission. This is the instruction of the resurrected Christ to his disciples to spread the gospel to all the nations of the world. In this passage, Christ is on a mountain in Galilee, and he calls his followers to make disciples and baptize all nations in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Let's read this passage together. Therefore go and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and teaching them to obey everything I have commanded you. And surely I am with you always, to the very end of the age. Let's spend a few minutes reflecting upon the passage. What does this passage from the book of Matthew have to do with sharing a vision? How does a Christian leader build a shared vision, or any leader for that matter, to where or to what he or she is called? And how does Christ emulate building a shared vision in this passage? First of all, he put forth a vision of baptizing all nations. And he gave assurance to his disciples that he would be with them and support them. This passage happens before the ascension of Christ to heaven, and he gives them his word that he will be with them and supporting them even when he's not there. And that's what leaders do. Let's move to our Kouzes and Posner reading for this week and talk about inspiring a shared vision and how envisioning the future helps you in that arena. So how does your possibility thinking of what could be turn into an inspiring vision, and how do you as a leader share that vision? Kouzes and Posner, one of the quotes in this part of the book, talks about clarifying your vision, like clarifying your values, is an intuitive and emotional process of self-exploration and self-creation. Visions are reflections of one's fundamental beliefs and assumptions about human nature, technology, economics, science, politics, art, and ethics. So, how are some of the ways you as a leader are going to envision the future? How do you reflect on your past to aim for the future? What is it that you've done well? What is it that hasn't worked? What has worked? And what might you tweak to help you inspire a shared vision? Besides looking towards the future, what's happening around you? How do you attend to the present? You have to listen to your constituents. What's the topics of conversation? What does your team need or want? What gets in the way of them doing the very best they can? How do you, while you're in the moment, also have the bandwidth to think about what's coming and envisioning what needs might change, where you might be going, and how are you passionate about that? So if you don't feel any passion, chances are your team isn't going to either. And when you don't feel passion, you can't see the possibilities. So as a leader, how would you use these ideas to shape the future? One of the ways Kouzes and Posner talk about envisioning the future and inspiring a shared vision is to find a common purpose. And the quote I chose to exemplify this area is that the key task for leaders is inspiring a shared vision. What this requires is finding common ground among people who have to implement the vision. So it's not just about me, and it's not my plan, it's our plan, and we're in this together. So in providing that groundwork, how do you listen deeply to others? How do you take in their advice, their feelings, their feedback, and make sure that they feel heard? Their comments and feedback might not be the end result, but they have to have something in it. They have to have some skin in the game. So how do you make everyone feel included? And how do you make this vision a cause for commitment? How do you find out what's meaningful to others? How do you find out their passions and be able to weave this into the vision that you see for what's going to happen in the future? And again, how do you look forward in rapid times of rapid change? So we might not have a vision of what exactly it looks like, but in every change process I've been involved in, when you're working together as a team and you have passion and a cause, it's something totally different that I've imagined that we come up with, and it's 20 times better. So looking forward, keeping everyone involved, making sure everyone's passionate are ways of ensuring that you're inspiring a shared vision. Inspiring a shared vision also, as we just talked about, means that you're enlisting others. So you want to appeal to common ideals. Kouzes and Posner say, visions are about ideals. They're about hopes, dreams, and aspirations. They're about a strong desire to achieve something great. They're ambitious, and they're expressions of optimism. So as we look at enlisting others, what are some of the ways in which you as a leader can connect to what is meaningful to others? That goes back to listening deeply. How do you meld everyone's passions into this vision so that they have skin in the game? Another way is to think about, how are you unique? What are your distinctives? And how do you share them? How do you celebrate them? Those things that are unique to your team or your organization or your setting. And how, again, do you align your dream with the dreams of your team and your stakeholders so that everyone's facing the same direction and aligning themselves to that vision? So another way of enlisting others is to animate the vision. In other words, make it come alive. So Kouzes and Posner say that leaders have to engage others to join in a cause and to want to move decisively forward. You have to help your team see and feel how their own interests and aspirations are aligned with the vision. So as a school counselor, how do you use symbolic language? And symbolic language might be a metaphor or a logo or something that shows you're distinctive. For example, in the School of Ed, we have our conceptual framework of equip, transform, and empower. So those three words you see on the syllabi, you see assignments aligned with that, because that's what we want our candidates to be able to do while they're in the program. They're going to be equipped with the knowledge, skills, and dispositions to be great educators in the field. They're going to be transformed in the ways in which they think about education, their ideas about the care of children we've entrusted to them, and they're going to be empowered to make a difference in the lives of others in the communities that they serve. So that's an example of symbol. Kaiser's symbol, or their logo, is thrive. So all of the equip, transform, empower, those are words that if you say those in the School of Ed, we know what they mean. Thrive, you think of Kaiser and the medical support and the care they're giving their clients and their patients. So that's what we mean by symbolic language. Creating images of the future. What's an image for the vision that you have? A representation. Sometimes that's a picture. Again, it might be a logo. But how do you create that image that is going to help enlist others in your cause? Practice of positive communications to foster team spirit, promote optimism and resilience, renew faith and confidence. People are looking for us to be positive and to be looking on the bright side, and for us to keep hope alive. So how is our communication, both face-to-face, electronically, in writing? How does that promote a positive image of our vision of who we are? And I'd like to talk a little bit about the last tenet we have on this slide, about speaking genuinely and being your authentic self. And this gets back to knowing your values, knowing your beliefs, knowing what your calling is, what your purpose. Why did God call you to this place in this time? What is it that you're good at? I know that my calling is to facilitate growth and learning in others in a positive way. And everything I think about is through those terms. How do I help develop people into the people that they're supposed to be? And that's part of my authenticity. If I'm trying to be, I'm pretty shy. So if I'm trying to be charismatic, or if I'm trying to be someone I'm not, it's not going to come across as authentic, and nobody's going to want to come along with me. So to inspire that sharing of the vision of what you are and what you can become, you need to know your true self and be able to speak genuinely to that. Now we have some videos for you to view and some exercises, and we will see you next week. Okay, bye-bye.